Hi there, me again. Got quite a lot that I'm going to go through today. I'm not going to do a demonstration. I'm going to do a step by step on my blog, but I'm just going to go through and show you what I've done. So, last video I showed you how to do the stitch journal, and now I've done a cover for it with the heat transfer paints. So I'm going to just show you how I've done that and how easy it is to do. So what I did was I took the Magic Media paper, and actually before I do that, this is the t-shirt I've made. It was inspired actually by Marion. I showed you the actual paper version of it last time. Now all I've done is, this is a 100% cotton t-shirt. So I've used the prefixer from the heat transfer set, and then I've just pressed this and transferred onto this. So I think it's really nice. It's come out really nice. I quite like that. If you have a look at how lovely and rich the colours are and what have you. So I've done that, and I used the retro banner for that. So yeah, anyway. So I've taken the, for this I took the Magic Media paper, which is like a real lovely leather look, scrunched it up, flattened it out, and then what I do is when I do anything with the A4 paper and I do strips, I'm left with lots of little edges where, you know, if I've done 1 centimetre all the way along, I usually get lots of these little strips. Now I don't throw them away because it's so silly, and obviously you get different strip lengths depending on what increment you're doing on your A4 sheet. So I was saving all those, the thinner pieces, and then I added a few extras to them. So then I've just taken a piece of paper, I measured that around my journal. So I measured exactly the amount that I needed for my journal to allow the seam at the top and the bottom to fold over. And then I've stuck down all the strips. So I sprayed the sheet originally with some spray adhesive. Then I lined up all the larger strips that I had, you know, just here and there all the way along the sheet. And then I, just with a bit of Phil's PVA glue, I added the smaller pieces here and there, you know, just to do that. Now, you've got to bear in mind that when you do this, you're going to be working back to front. So whatever you do, you'd think that it was on your back cover is actually going to be on the front. So just bear that in mind. So if you see what I mean, this is, if you look at it, that would be in effect your front page, and then when you fold that over, obviously that becomes the front. So it's just a little working out there. So right, yes, so all I've done is I put all that on my paper, placed it face down onto the Magic Media sheet, and then I've pressed that, transferred the also what I did was obviously from the Floral Companion set, I've cut out some leaves, some various colour leaves, and I just put a drop shadow on there so that it brought them out a bit. And here's the finished result. So you've got your, what I've done then is I just stitched along, just a running stitch all the way along the stripes, missing out where I'd done the leaves. So that's the back of my book, and then that's the front of the journal. And as I say, it's the journal I did when I was with you last. What I did as well is I had loads and loads of scraps of this, and I didn't want to waste it. So I'll show you in a minute what I've used, but I used all my scraps and I've cut them out using some of my dyes, my new dyes. Cut those out, and then I've just stained or transferred colour onto each one, so we've got like a really nice sort of pattern there, front and back. Got a little patch of scraps, little bits and bobs all stuck together. So how I've done that, exactly the same way, I took my template of a blank piece of cheap paper, and then I've taken the blocks and then I've jigsawed them together to cover the whole sheet, and then I've transferred that onto the book. So sorry, scrap that. what I did with this was I cut all of the pieces. Sorry, I'm working ahead. So I've cut all the pieces. Then I've just taken a scrap of each of the colours and I transferred it direct onto each sheet. Then my finished pieces of this I've stuck down onto the paper so that it's perfect. Then, because obviously I don't want to just stick individual pieces, I wanted one sheet of fabric. So I've made my fabric by sticking them to a sheet of the paper, and then I've stuck the whole thing down once I've stitched. And with that I just did a sort of a diagonal stitch, I don't know what you'd call that, but I always make the holes first, because although this is easy to stitch through, if you want your stitches exactly in the right place, that's what I found was easy. But I really quite like that, a real nice junk journey finish with that. And again, it's the same that I stitched before, and then I've used some of the designer papers in the front and back, rather than, usually I use fabric, but I thought I'd try that for a change. I think that looks really nice. So they're the two things that I do, and obviously I'll on my blog I will run that through. So now I just wanted to show you some samples. These are the things that people have sent me. So there's a lovely card here from Morag, thank you very much. Love that, love the background, love the graceful striplet die. So if you did get that, well done. Well, congratulations, or I'm glad you've got it actually. A gorgeous one from Carol here, all the way from America. Favourite collection, my lovely rose swag, so Lady Marjorie rose swag, and then a lovely thing in the middle as well with this is from the Blooming Marvellous collection, yeah, Blooming Marvellous collection there, and then the die cut there's a really lovely card, thank you. I got some from Nicola, sent me a selection of the cards using the retro banner dies, lovely Eurostar, the retro leaves dies, gorgeous little peacock bird there, really lovely, lovely background, again using the little ones out of Such a Card, I think, was it Such a Card? Yeah, Such a Card stamps with that, really nice. Love this one, again with the retro banner and then the retro maze behind. Really like that. I love the retro collection, really love it. And a gorgeous shaker card here with the little, I know you can't see it on the screen very well, let's do that. You've got the lovely little gold stars in there, again really nice, and that's cut into and it looks really nice. So then when I came back, I did bring some samples with me. I showed you one lot and I just thought I'd share the rest with you. So this was one from Katrina, and this was the you know, the photo corners in my ATC die. She's used the, well, I say photo corners, they're not, they're whatever you want to do, but they're great as photo corners or holding parchment in place. So really love that. She's used that as snow-capped mountains, and the colours on it are lovely. I think this is from Jane. Yeah, this is from Jane, and this is using the Handy Helpers rubber stamps. Love this one as well. Love the sentiments as well on there. This one again is from Jane, using the Xander and using one of the stencils, so that's really nice. And this one's amazing as well. This is from Katrina, using the circles from the circles, what's it called, retro rounds stencils, and is it Trent in there, I think? Is it Trent? Yeah, I'm sure that's Trent in there. A fantastic card, really thinking outside the box there. Nicola, one from Nicola, lovely tag there. Mixing it all up with the this is Retro Fun and Retro Fun 2 stencils. I just got it on the back, actually brilliant. Retro Fun 2 stencils, all the love stamp set, and Such a Card stamp set used for that. That's a really nice one. Another one from Jane here, lovely. This one's using the Retro Vibes Positive Journey, glossy accents added to a few of the balloons, and that's just another way of using that one. That's a really nice fun card. That is a great birthday invitation as well, wouldn't it? And then one from Cheryl this time. She's done another tag, nice piece of acetate over there to highlight that. And then we've got the profile there, real mix up there, really colourful. So I really love that. So there's some of the samples I wanted to go through. Oh yeah, I will show you this. You know, I've been a little bit down and what have you, and it was amazing to get this. This is a picture of my nan, Marjorie, and as you know, I did the my last collection was in her memory, and one of my customers has painted this for me, and I wanted to show you. I didn't want to touch it because I'm scared of getting any fingerprints off it or anything, and that's it. And it's just absolutely amazing. I don't want to touch it at all. It's you know, I mean, if you have a look, it's just stunning. I mean, the thing is, the colouring is just perfect. I mean, you know, that's just, it just brought it to life. I think that's really lovely. And I just really wanted to show you that. It really, really did cheer me up no end to see it when it came. I was just blown away by it. I had mentioned to her, I had a canvas that I had of my nan, and I didn't think of sealing it or putting it behind glass, and over the years it's got, you know, the little fly dots you get, and I tried to get them off and it just took away the paint, and it was ruined. So to have that, it's wrapped in cardboard and put away. I've left it in there because I don't want it ruined, so I'm going to get a frame. I meant to get a frame last week, so I'll try. I'm hopefully going to get one on Monday. And then I can put it up in display, and that'll be nice. So, right, I've got an offer on my website. It's the last offer I'm adding to the Etsy store. Again, for my, it's a whole year now since I first brought out my first collection. And thank you. I've been doing a few little offers here and there over the last couple of weeks. I was going to add the last one last week, and I've ended up adding it today. So I'm giving any order over £60 will automatically in the basket will take 40% off. So any purchase over £60 and you get 40% off it. So you know, just it's on anything in the store at the moment at all. It is limited, so if you do want anything, go ahead and get it. It's valid for the week. It finishes on the 17th at midnight, and there are limited numbers because I can't. I have to limit it, but there should be enough to go round. So anything you want, go ahead and get them at this offer, because I won't be repeating the offer at 40%. Right, so as a thank you for tuning in today as well, I'm just going to show you some of the my new collection that'll be coming out. I've got a busy time when I come to Chanda next time. In 3 weeks, I've got a one-day special. It'll be exactly a year since I started to the day. So my first show was on the 1st of November. I've got a one-day special on the 1st of November this year, so I'll be there on the 1st and 2nd. Then I've got a show on the Sunday dedicated to all the heat paints, and I'll be bringing some new colours. And on the Monday, it'll be my last launch on a Chanda this year, and it's just a smaller collection. I've read lots of comments on Facebook, and I know a lot of people don't like the big bundles, so I've kept the one day special is quite a small selection. There are other things on the show that you can add to it, but the actual one day special is just a small stamp set, collection of stamps. So what was I showing you before? I showed you something before, I can't remember, it's gone out of my head. Can't remember what I was showing you now. Right, so I've got a set of 4 stencils. Love this one. It's the Geo Circles. This is really lovely. I love this one. I'm going to go through these quickly because we'll go through them a lot more in detail. So I've got the Geo Circles, the Sorry, Nanny. I've got the Eastern, oh, what did I call that? Eastern Delight. I've got the, my mind's going today, Crazy Crystals, and I've got the something Fantasy Fields. Love this one. I've done this, it's done sort of like a field, or if you can take sections out of it. I try and get as much in as I can, so we've got larger areas on the stencil, very much smaller areas on the stencil. You can use like sections of it or strips of it, or make that whatever you like. The Crazy Crystals, obviously quite geometric there, but again, pick them out, that lovely texture of that one. The Eastern Delights is like a tile pattern, extendable. You can extend this as well. And the Geo Circles is just really good. You can pick these out, so I mean, picking out sort of the inside pattern, or just the circles, or whatever you want to do there. That lovely backgrounds, but again, they're not just for background stencils. I mean, you can do so much more with them. I'm going to show you that on that quickly. Right, so it's hit me straight away as soon as I've seen this. So I've got my own, I'm not going to bring out many layering dies, because we've all got so many layering dies. Unless I think it's worth bringing them out, I won't, but I have brought out Rectangles 1 and Rectangles 2. And I brought these out because I must have 3 or 4 sets of rectangle dies, and they're either too fat, or I find that by the time you get into the circle it's more of a square. I've not knocking them, because they're all great for what I want, but if I want a rectangle, I've looked so many times for a rectangle that I can put a sentiment on, or the next one up can be used as a larger sentiment, or it's just something that I thought was useful. I want to use all my dies, and I know with these I can use the smallest one and put a nice sentiment on, or stamp out a range of sentiments and then just die cut those bits and put them on my card. I know you can cut them out, but sometimes you do want it like a nice clean line. So the reason I've done it in 2, you can have one or the other. Personally, I like them together. I like a small, when I do a card, I like a smaller layer. So these are done so they'll go up in smaller increments. At the moment, each one is 5mm. So by having the 2 together, you get a lot more that you can do with them. It's just, for me, I think it's much better value. What I wanted to do with these is a couple of the sets of rectangles I've got are actually thin dies. So I don't know what how you find it, but one in particular I've got is so thin that when I've put it through, it's bent, and then when I come to do it again, I haven't got a perfect. It's not the same again. When I first designed these, my person that makes the dice for me said, look, we can get this all in one set. And I said, no, I don't want it in one set. I want this a real wide piece of metal here. I want it to be sturdy. So every time I put that through, I know that I'm not going to get that coming in, or that bending, or I want it to be a rectangle every time I cut it. I don't want it to be if you're having a die, you want it to cut perfectly, and that's what I've done. And as I say, I'm not knocking any other dies. The biggest thing I wanted proper rectangles all the way to the smallest rectangle, so I can use that. I know that I can use that as a brilliant sentiment. That's an ideal size for the sentiment. In one of the sets we've got an ideal A6, so it's perfect A6. So that way we've got your A6, so you can use it on your larger cards, your smaller cards. On the other set it goes above A6, and each of the dies, they're all rectangles, so it doesn't get to the point where you've got a little thing in the middle that there's neither use nor ornament. I knew there was a smaller one in here. So even the smallest die, and you've got you can use that for a sentiment. It's usable, and that's what I wanted. So that's why they're in 2 sets. They're as I say, rectangles 1 and 2. So the largest in this set is 173. So it's just around about 17.5 centimeters, just under, by 13 centimeters. And then this one is just under 170. No, it isn't. It's 17, just under 17 centimeters by around about 12.5. So putting those together, which one did I open? I think I showed you that one. So you can see you've got a little smaller one that fits inside the other one. So they're my rectangles. That's what I used for my book. So I think these are, again, essential, but I just wanted to explain this is why I brought those out, because I think they're needed personally, and I want to get the best use out of my things. Now then, I've got a couple more striplets. Had to have Retro Chaos because it's my favourite. A lot of people love Retro Chaos, and a lot of people love the Retro Rounds. So I thought it'd be fantastic to have them in a striplet. Now also, I'm really sorry, it's completely gone out of my head who it was, but I had a lady asking about the decorative edge around about the same time that I was doing this, and it was actually the decorative edge that was on the the graceful striplet. And because this is a slightly different size, I thought, oh, I know what, I'll put that on there as well. So we've got that as well, because not many people got the graceful striplet, because there was only 10 or 11 of them, so only 11 people got that. So I know a few people were after that edge that was in it, and I couldn't get it for them. So here we are. Retro Chaos has got that edge, but in a different size. And then we've got the Retro Rounds, which I love as well. Then it's things to slot in with the collections that you've got so far. So I fancy flourishes, 2 dies there. These go with they'll go with your Blooming Marvellous collection. They'll go with your Floral Companions. They'll go with anything else at all. I've just made it really lovely and fine filigree leaves there. So going both ways, not exactly the same, because I wanted them pointing both ways, but obviously not exactly the same. So you've got one slightly smaller than the other, so you can do some really nice swirls. Invaluable in my opinion for any project, that one. Now this one was a must. This one I built this up from Lady Marjorie stamps, and quite a few people said they loved the oval, but they wanted the oval ready done. So in this stamp set, I've got the stamp that will give you the oval. You can put any of the sentiments inside, your own sentiments that you've got inside it, have it on its own. But also I wanted to give you a bit more versatility. So this one comes, there's a separate die that goes with it, a 2-set die. So we've got the die where you can cut out the whole thing. So you can stamp this and cut the whole thing out, or you can cut the middle out. So you could have this on the front of your card, and then just cut the centre out so that inside your card you're seeing the sentiment, or put a little a scene behind it or something like that. So you can cut the whole thing out of your card and have it as a topper, or you can have the inside cut out, or you can play around with it and do whatever you like. So those two go together. There is on here, I love this sentiment. This sentiment here, and it's how you look at something that can make it beautiful. Now I've read at in there, and at isn't in there, and every time I proofread that, I put the at in it, and I still just did it now. So it actually says in the stamp set, it's how you look something that can make it beautiful. Well, obviously I'm not going to wanting to be selling you that, so I've got it was too late to redo the whole sheet when it was actually one of my design team that had stamped it out and said, and then it was only then, and I still read it back when she posted the picture. I still read it as I put the at in myself. It must be my brain still doing it. So I've had the stamp remade. So in the pack, you'll get the original incorrect phrase, but you'll also get the correct phrase with the at in it. Because obviously it was either that or I wasn't going to be. Obviously, those two products would have been out the window otherwise. So I thought that was the best way of doing that. So you've got whatever you want, and the other one you can cut up. You've got beautiful there. You can cut the other words up and do other things with them. Now, Xander Bailey, Trent, and Brendan. From the very first, when I first started doing them, people were asking for them larger. So obviously the last time I brought them out on a sheet, which I thought was large enough, but a few people had said, oh, we'd like them larger, so that they were balanced more with the ladies' stamps that are out there, or so they could use them in bigger projects. Now, I looked at it, and I wanted to bring them all as a set, but the only way I could see to do it was I couldn't quite get two on one sheet. And I thought, well, no one, although people say they want the larger versions, I couldn't see that someone would be paying that sort of money for one with some sentiments around. So I couldn't think of how to do it. And I asked in the design team what they all thought, and they said, well, how about just choosing one? And, I thought, oh yeah, that might be an idea. And then I started, I'll just have to have a drink, sorry. So I started playing around with it, and I wanted to give you all of them and to make it more versatile again. So what I came up with was this stamp sheet. It's a large stamp sheet, and what I've done is I've given you the face. So I've just slightly altered the face, and this is Trent here. Yeah, so Trent. And then there's a selection of all the hairstyles here. And these are all sized, so they will line up perfectly on to this face. Oh, we've gone out of focus. Hello? Right, back. Yeah, they're all perfectly sized, so they'll line up with this face. You can hide them and lower them a bit, so you can, especially with Xander, you can make his hair a bit higher. Obviously, you don't want to go too mad, otherwise he's got a huge forehead. But also, this gives you the opportunity to just stamp the face and then do something else, so you could put your own hairstyles on, or cogs, or money, or it's a lot more that you can do with it. So this gives you the opportunity then to have it in your journals, bigger, still sized well for a card, but then I could just do it on one stamp sheet and give you all these looks. So I think this was the best way of doing it. It's great fun. All of the design team have come up with some great ideas with it. So I'm looking forward to showing you all of their ideas of that. And sorry, I've had a bad chest again. Right, so that's with the Builderman, and then we come on to the one day special. Now the one day special, it's actually I stayed in a hotel in beginning of the year when I came to Chanda, and when I went for breakfast I saw this stunning mural on the wall, and I love time travel and things like that, and Doctor Who and all sorts of other things, and I think a lot of people like sort of time travel and escape and things like that, and I've actually spoken to the lady Christine who did the mural, and I said to her that I was wanting to do the stamps and then eventually done the stamps, but it inspired me to do. She had people in it, and it was a whole scene, and I didn't want to do it as much as that because I wanted to give you the versatility. But the idea, I just loved it. Since talking to her, I mean, she shared more of her artwork with me, and it's just stunning. So she inspired me to do it, and so this is what I've come up with. It's called Splinters in Time, and so here we are. So the first part of it is, there's a few little elements on here as well, but the main part of the stamp is the smashed wall. So it's a brickwork wall, plastered wall, going through. So, and some lovely sentiments on there as well. So you stamp that, and you can put whatever you like behind it. So it could be a village scene or a Christmas scene, or any scene you like, or it doesn't have to be a scene. It could be, I know, you could put the faces behind it, or you could put a picture of a loved one behind there, or whatever you like. Entirely up to you. Another thing that I wanted to do at the same time was with the landscaping. So there's quite a lot of landscaping in the set. So there was so much that I started like overflowing. So I've put a couple of bits of landscape here for you on this sheet. Nice sentiments on there. I'm not going to go through them completely because I do want to have some sort of surprises. So going on from the landscape, then we've got these. We've got some. I drew these in lovely Casbury Park, where I grew up in Watford, when I was with my mum. So we've got a few trees there, some different sort of trees, different sized trees, paths, some more sentiments, some ready-made sort of like path and trees, some more mountains. Mountains, valleys, softer landscapes. You've got the landscapes up here. So all of those can build you up a scene behind here if you want to build your own scene. But then I know there's people that don't want to build their own scene, or want maybe something fast that they can do. Sorry. Something fast that they can do themselves. So I came up with these, just a few little ideas there. So I've got like an old Victorian scene here. I've done them sketchy because I want you to be able to use these, separately, and do like a watercolor wash, or do them sketchy. You know my style by now. It's sort of sketchy and not perfect, and that's not what it's all about. I don't think there's something here. I think it's sort of like Tuscany, Italian-y sort of thing, depending on the colours you use. And then here we've got something else. I thought that would be a lovely winter scene, but also, putting the colour on the trees. You've got your you can. I mean, I've used sea sponges before, to put the detail on the trees, so you can quite easily do that summer. All the trees, the same with the trees here. They're not winter trees. I've just given you the option of being able to have them as a winter tree, or add your foliage, blossoms, colours, whatever you want to do. I mean, these go perfectly with the floral companions, the leaves for that, because you can put that together and make some really fantastic cards. So this is going to be the one day special. So it's a fantastic set, but it's going to be good for everyone. It's a much smaller price range than other collections, but it's the whole package. You've got everything there you need to do a range of cards. I mean, you've got Christmas cards, birthday cards, and that's just using those scenes. You can winter scenes, summer scenes, autumn colours are gorgeous, spring, depending on what you do around the wall, you could make it incredibly. You could make it suit whatever occasion or person you're sending it to. So that's that. That's my new collection. I really am excited about doing it, and now I've just got to get on and get all my inspirations done and get all the demos sorted out and what have you. But because it's been busy, I wanted to spend a bit of time and come on here and share a few things with you. So I will see you very shortly. As I say, this will all be on my blog. If you've got any more products, my blog details are on there. I will share it on Facebook as well. So all the details of the offer, the step-by-step pictures for the journal, everything will be on there. So I'll just quickly show you the journal, or both journals again, just to remind you, or if you just joined us now. So these are the two journals I've done. This one is the one that I did with you. I stitched this on the show, or on the last YouTube video if you missed that. Then I've just covered it as I suggested earlier. And then this is the second journal. It's stitched in exactly the same way, exactly the same size, and that is done a little bit differently. Alright then, so they're the two journals, just a couple of ideas, and there's hundreds of ideas. I could go on and on and on with ideas for the journals and the paints and everything, but we'd be here for hours on end. So I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been great to see you. I hope you're with me and we're having a chat, and see you soon. Take care. Bye.